No Glove Nationals, 56th annual tournament this past weekend. Here with Jerry Brown.
Hello, everybody.
And pretty good tournament, Jerry. A lot of close games, especially on Sunday. For the most part, the tournament played the chalk. I thought usual suspects in the top 6 or 7. We did have some teams that did play well throughout the weekend, just didn't have enough to crawl into the top 4.
Yeah, I thought Fat Kids made a good statement over the weekend. That was one of the teams that played very well, and I do owe an apology to Moneyline for putting the Malouk on them, and I'm sorry, Moneyline guys, forgive me.
And I thought Whale played pretty good. They ended up tied for 7th, and, they beat the teams they should have beat. They had a couple of uneven performances, and they had a couple errors in the one game, or they might have actually progressed a little bit further, but I thought they had a nice little weekend as well. And, of course, Flashback won the event. I believe it's maybe the 6th time that they've won the No Glove. They won one as Flash. They won 3 when I was there. They won a random one, and now they've gone back-to-back. So Flash has steadily built a team resume that should get them included in the conversations of some of the best teams to ever play the game, or best franchises at least. And, they don't really self-promote much, so a lot of people tend to kind of look past them a little bit. Oops, there's Flashback. So I think they had a really great weekend. They had some guys with some terrific performances. Justin Smykowski got the MVP. We got a nice interview we're going to show here in a little bit that we did with Justin last night. Mike Manzella, Danny Dispenza had terrific weekends. And, really when I went back and looked at their stats, it was a lot about timely hitting. They played a lot of really close games, and they were finding ways to win.
Yeah, it's also 2 people I would like to with the win and with the repeat in Forest Park, No Glove Nationals, everybody, it was a big contributor. But that Ryan Russ playing left field defensively is locked down. He is locked down. He might be the Deion Sanders primetime lockdown left fielder in the game today. And also I want to give a shout-out for Joe Piscitelli, because I think he played 3 positions, if I was correct, shortstop, third base, and second base.
That's correct. Well, Joe's a quality infielder.
He's one of my favorites, and I hope and I think that he's qualified for to be an All-Geo. He played 3 in a No Glove. I got to put him there. He should be the captain of the team, if you want to hear my honest opinion.
Well, maybe if his shorts were a little longer.
Blank stare. His shorts are fine.
And, of course, 45's finished second. They're having a pretty good year. They've won a tournament. Now they finished second in this one. And they're doing basically what the 45s tend to do, and that is they just compete day in, day out, whether it's a league game or a tournament. They just show up, and they're just very, very difficult to kind of defeat.
Yeah, what I like about the 45s, and historically they've always had great attendance and great commitment. And it starts there. You don't really see a lot of mismatching anytime during the season with them. They might be short a player or 2, but normally 90% of the time they're there.
Yeah, that's true, and that goes a long way. It gives you a lot of continuity. I'm a big believer that it's not just continuity in the sense of, your batting order. It's also continuity defensively when you know who you're playing next to, whether you're an infielder or an outfielder. And then you kind of build that rapport, and you kind of know what the other guy can get to, what he can't get to. And so when you get your guys there every night, everybody knows their roles. And I think as a manager, it makes you a lot easier to run your club, to manage your club. And there's no confusion amongst the players either.
No, not at all. I mean, like you said before, there's that when you play together, you develop the continuity as you spoke before, and it's that unwritten, wink or nod that you don't see on the stat sheet that shows up, and it only happens if everybody shows 90% of the time, 95% of the time.
That's correct. And we're going to show you a picture of Justin Smikowski now. I'm doing double duty here. And of course, we took a gag photo with Justin at Lawler's Bar at the post party. And, that seems to the last couple of years be a little bit of a tradition with the flashback team at Lawler's. They got that big lighted American flag, and everybody they like to take the picture of the MVPs. Last year it was Moji and Joey Agardo, and it was a real nice picture. And so this year we took one with Justin as well, and so we're getting ready to put the interview up, and we're having a little bit of trouble.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
When you coach Flash, you won 3 straight no gloves.
That's correct.
Now, deep down inside, do you want them to get that third one?
Absolutely.
Okay. There's no leave them at 2. They can start over next year.
No, I'm not wired that way, Jerry.
All right. I'm proud of you.
I still have a lot of friends over there, and even a lot of the younger kids that have just gone over there. I have a good rapport with them, and I just think that I never begrudge anybody any type of success.
Okay.
And I can tell you that the first major national championship that they won after I left, I called Jibbs up and I complimented him. I thought that he just did a wonderful job of managing that weekend, and I couldn't have been happier. So we got our technical difficulties squared away, and now we're going to head to the interview with Justin Smikowski.
Latest Forest Park No Glove National Champion MVP, Justin Smikowski. So, how you feeling, Justin? Still kind of riding the wave a little?
Pretty much riding the wave, yeah. Me and the other guys are probably riding a little harder than I am. I know a few of them were out pretty much till yesterday, but yeah, enjoying it for sure.
So a lot of people may not know this. Of course, I got a chance to manage you one weekend with the Scrubs, and I put in a good word for you. Jibbs asked me, hey, anybody on that Scrub team's any good? And I said, you got to come see this kid, Justin. He's the real deal. So I want to thank you for making me look like a genius.
It was the first time I pretty much got into bigger softball. I got with Carroll Stream. I remember, I don't know if it was you or Danny Stramaglia calling me up saying, you want to come play with the Scrubs team. I think it was actually Danny that introduced me to you. And we were up in Tinley Park. He said, you got to come out to this Carroll Stream tournament. I don't know what I was getting myself into. I went out there and all these teams. It was a lot bigger than anything I've been in before. And after that, that's when I got the call from Jibbers, and it's been Flash ever since. But yeah, you did get me started. I'll give you credit there.
Well, Danny Stramalia got you started, yeah. But I know when we were playing, I think it was Friday night against Top Fleet, one of the so-called favorites in that tournament, you ended up hitting a big bomb, and you were playing short center that night, not the outfield.
Yeah, that is where I started. I played a little bit of infield in college. Not very good at it, but I did. So that's where I started when I started playing softball, and I eventually found myself in the outfield, which I'm trying to find my way back to the infield now, but we'll see how it works out.
Unfortunately, you became one of the best center fielders in the game, and you're a little too young. How old are you?
be 32 next week, so I'm not that young. We got a lot younger guys coming up below me, so maybe I'll get to the infield.
Well, and what a lot of people don't remember, when we were out in, I believe it was Marshalltown, you were a co-MVP of the major national championship. So for a young kid, you got 2 MVPs in the 2 biggest tournaments.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. I kind of call it getting hot at the right time. I feel like I'm pretty streaky, so there's tournaments where I'll go off and tournaments where I stink. So I get lucky sometimes. I don't know. That's how it goes.
Well, you know, if you're going to be streaky and play that well in those types of tournaments, I guess you could live with that.
Yeah, definitely. It does help when you got some of the best players around you too. I mean, both of those tournaments that we won, I mean, we could have had 10 other MVPs, in my opinion, especially this last tournament, this past weekend. I mean, top to bottom, everyone hit. Honestly, I didn't think I played that great the first couple days, but, I mean, it's a lot easier when you got those guys around you. You don't really got to worry about doing too much. Just go up there and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I thought Mike Manzella and Danny Dispenza in particular were really having nice tournaments, and they were getting on base in front of you, and that makes it a lot easier to drive runs in and have an impact.
Yeah, Manzella.
Chicago Summer Series. As Jerry Brown says, he's a doubles machine.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, the guy can put it wherever he wants, and he's fast as lightning, so it's doubles is his game. That's why it's Danny Doubles.
And, of course, Moji, he's starting to build a reputation in this tournament as being one of the best pitchers to pitch in this event.
Yeah, I love Moji. The thing about Moji is when we're out there, I think we've played long enough with him where we know where he's pitching and he sets us up perfectly. So it's really not hard with him. The ball's going where you think it's going to go. He pitches guys the way you expect him to, and that helps out a lot.
So we're fighting a little car alarm resetting over there. So bear with us, folks. So you just had your first child recently, got married recently, buying and moving a new house, so you got your plate full.
Yeah, it's been a busy year, that's for sure. Got my little guy, he's going to be 11 months old in about a week or so. So I'm planning his first birthday party. The new house,
So the little guy, does he throw right-handed and hit left-handed?
I'm pretty sure he's a left-handed hitter. We got a little bat for him, and the way he holds it, I'm pretty sure he's going to be left-handed. I'm going to force him to be left-handed. But throwing, he's right-handed. Pretty much same as me.
Great, another future flashback lefty in the making.
Yeah, he'll be out there before you know it.
And so, like I said, we talked a little bit this afternoon. I'm proud of you. It's been fun watching you mature as a player. And can we break the news that, contrary to what a lot of people were hoping, you will be back with Flash next year?
I was sure I was done, but I'm coming back. You can't win 2 of those and not come back. So as long as we keep winning, I guess I got to keep playing. And it's hard to leave those guys around you. Flash is, I mean, you talk about going to different teams and stopping playing. We talked on the phone earlier. It is so hard to leave a group of guys. They're great on the field, but off the field, it's a family. And everyone who comes to Flash knows that. It's not really about softball. It's about being together with the guys, and that's pretty hard to leave.
Yeah, I experienced that when I was there too, coming from Mudville to manage Flashback, and I tell you, they do. They take you in, they treat you like you've been there for a decade, and they are a real good group.
Oh, absolutely. Jibs, Bobby, Shane, Denny, all those guys, Tyler, they take you in, and if you need anything, they're always there for you, and they're a hell of a good time off the field I'm sure everyone knows that.
Final thoughts. Anybody you want to say hello to, or anything you want to leave us with?
Quick shout out. I did win a tournament, league out in Montclair last week with Gert. They were posted on SSA somewhere. Those guys are dogs. I told them I would give them a shout out. Sean McHale, all those guys. Obviously, Morgan, my wife, and little Luke. Love those guys. My dad as well. Tone it down on Facebook, but love you as well. And just the Flash guys. Just get ready for another big weekend of Labor Day.
There you go. We'll see if you guys can win both. It's hard to win both, but certainly you guys have the roster to do it.
I hope so.
So,
Look forward to that.
so that's Justin Smykowski spending.
So we're back, folks. That was Justin Smykowski. Sorry we had some technical glitches. Let's take a break before we get into the Chicago Summer Series team standings and leaders. And there were some new faces popping up, so we'll get to that. And just a reminder, Sweet Buzz, Gold Rush Gaming, our anchor partners for the Chicago Summer Series. Please support the people that support 16-inch softball and the SSA. You see our banners up all the time at these fields. They're the reason why we can do what we do. So what'd you think of Justin there?
Well, I think that, first of all, congratulations to Justin, Flash, and the whole Flash organization for if I had not congratulated them, for a two-peat. That was really good, really great. It was an honor. I thought the interview went really smooth. You get to see a different side of him. He's really humble and really soft-spoken young man to be such a great player.
Yeah, he really is, and you know, when I told him I was proud of him, I mean, when I helped Danny out that one year, he was just a young pup. You know, we had a couple of team practices, and Danny was teaching him how to hit the ball the other way. And Danny was feeding him pitches and telling him, hey, you got to do this with your feet, this with your hands. And I think Danny had a lot to do with his development as a player. And, you know, but you could see from a natural ability standpoint, he's off the charts athletically. And he's really improved a lot. And you're right, he's a soft-spoken kid. You know, he doesn't say a whole lot, but you can tell he's taking it all in. And he continues to just get better and better. And a little surprised. I thought he was a little younger than 32, but he sure don't look or play like a 32.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, not at all. And I know this list is growing, but that's another all-Geo candidate. I mean, we got a 50-man roster, and we got to get this together. We got to have all-Geo defense, all-Geo offense, utility. I got all type of ideas for you.
Well, you know, we're going to have the Jerry Brown 5-team selection of guys Geo forgot about.
Well,
we'll get a better name for it.
That's okay. I'll take it. 5 people you forgot about. I mean, first of all, I put myself on the team as the manager. That's one thing, and then I got 4 more selections.
You got fired.
Okay.
No, just kidding. So let's get to the new leaderboard in terms of team standings. Flashback. First team in a while to win 2 big events in the summer.
Yeah.
Very easily could have won 3 this summer. They did not quite get the midsummer done, but they finished second there, and they have a 4th. So from a point standpoint, boy, that was hard to say. They got 197 points.
Wow.
So they've opened up. 45's 148, Signature 129, Circus 104. So those are the only Circus, Signature, they're all far and away been the 4 most consistent teams.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree wholeheartedly. those like you said, they're the cream of the crop this year, and but they deserve it. They've earned it.
And that brings us to number 5, High Y, with 89 points. But they're getting their points the hard way. They keep getting dumped into the losers bracket, and then they win a lot of games in the losers bracket, and that seems to be how they're accumulating a lot of the points. They're having good runs. They kind of need to stay in the winners bracket a little longer. It would make their weekends a lot easier, but sometimes it seems like until they get that first loss,
They wake up.
they don't it
switch
catches
flips.
their attention.
Well, you know what? I think that with the High Y organization, there's a certain tournament that they were very successful in last year, and maybe I got them with the repeat champions. So
The Malouk is back.
I got to do it. I got a High Y repeating as defending champions of the major national SSA, and I'm going to step out on the limb and pick High Y.
Okay.
Now back to you.
I'm keeping my powder dry. I don't want anybody accusing me of putting the Malouk on them, so I'm not going to jump in right now. We will have a preview show, obviously, before the major, and when we have the brackets, maybe I'll make a pick then. Getting back to the standings, Moneyline checking in at number 6 with 74, and then we see a much bigger drop-off. Hex with 58, Whale with 56, Shooters with 53, Fat Kids with 51. And a lot of and again, I know everybody's going to look at this. Our major list is coming out. The major list takes into account leagues as well as tournaments, and we still have a component where we eyeball games they play.
So you're taking league play into account as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We do. And that's why I asked you to send me the Washington Park standings right after the tournament.
Gotcha.
So, it's an interesting thing. Flash, I think, is just really having a tremendous year. They are playing very well, and they are just the most consistent. I think it's going to be virtually impossible for anybody to catch them at this point. But there's still chances for teams to slide up and down, second, third, fourth, and we'll see what happens with the final standings. But I think the team standings are good in the sense that we get a sense of how teams have played all summer versus just looking at an individual weekend.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that BTA is a little higher, and also Hex. I thought thought both teams have a very solid roster, and I'm just it's never too late. But I just thought those two might be a little ranked higher with points wise.
Well, but looking at BTA, the year they won the major, they weren't exactly having a tremendous year, and they put it together that weekend, and they played lights out.
Okay.
So
what you're saying is anything's possible when the tournament time comes.
Sure, absolutely. I think that anything is possible, and I think that, I keep telling those guys, they've, for their talent, they're underperforming, and I keep waiting for them to turn it on, and who knows, maybe in Joliet. But we got a lot of teams, I think, that are capable of doing that. I think it's going to be
wide open,
a crazy one. You got the teams from Iowa coming in.
We don't talk about it enough, and that's that March team. They've had some really good quality wins. They had a pretty decent showing in the No Glove as well. So I wouldn't look past March. If I could pick a, so to speak, a dark horse, I wouldn't discount March. Now I have a question.
Okay, what's your question, Jerry
I spent
Brown?
most of my time with the No Glove on Field 1, but Field 2 seemed to be a really high scoring. The higher scores were on Field 2. Was the wind blowing out, or the wind blowing in, or what was the weather looking like?
Well, it depended. A couple of days, the wind was blowing out on Field 2, and then it was blown out on field one at some point, and as a result
That was
of
Thursday.
yeah, and as a result of that, I think the conditions changed a couple of times during the weekend, and as a result of that, it went like one diamond was high scoring, the other was not quite, and then all of a sudden it got flip-flopped during the course of the weekend. So, for example, on Sunday, I don't know if it was the championship game or the winter bracket, it got kind of cloudy. It looked like it was going to rain.
Yeah.
Temperature felt like it dropped, and then the sun came back out and it heated up, and the wind had kind of shifted mid-game. So that stuff always is going to happen on occasion during the weekend. And out here, Melrose is a perfect example. Depending on the weather, one diamond, it's like a football game with the scores, and the other one is, tight. So we'll see what happens this weekend while they run their event.
Do you think that when you have let's say there was a 2019 game, score if I remember correctly, does that high-scoring game takes a lot out of you for the next game? Are you, so to speak, are you swung out? Do you have any more quality swings left because you had to fight to get 20 runs and still try to win the ball game?
Well, yeah, I think just from a mental aspect, you're spending a lot of energy, and generally in those kind of games, you have those up and down swings, and so what happens is you're burning a lot of adrenaline, and then depending on when your next game is, once that adrenaline dump wears off, you kind of got to try to get back up and get back into it. That's why a lot of times we see teams after games like that, back to back, first couple innings of the ball game, they seem like, hey, they just scored 20, now they're struggling to score runs.
Right.
And that reaction of the adrenaline and a little bit of mental strain.
Okay.
So, it is rough. So let's switch over. We got the new batting leaders, and we're at the point now where we've got a lot of at-bats. Now you need 48. So we do got guys that have higher averages than this, but they might have only had 40 or 30 at-bats. And when you look at a guy like Brian Korinkowski, Kevin Duff, Danny Marston, these guys are all well over 120 at-bats these guys got.
Wow.
So that'll tell you what kind of runs their teams are scoring. So these guys that are on the list that all have a minimum of 48 at-bats.
Can't go wrong with 48.
Well, you're starting to get into a larger sample size. For example, if you're Danny Marston and you got 130 at-bats, if you go 3 for 3 or 0 for 3, your average doesn't swing now as much as a guy that maybe has 30 at-bats. So now we're kind of really seeing who's having a good summer. So you got Brian Korinkowski, almost 600, 598. New name we haven't seen from Iron, Billy Quirk, 592. Somebody asked me about Billy. They were getting ready to play Iron, and they said, who's that guy? And I told them he's an on-base machine.
Yeah.
Because the kid he hits, he plays second base. And so a lot of people might not know Billy, but a real good, solid player. Kevin Duff, 563, having a very good year, one of his better years in the last 2 or 3, and he's doing a great job. Of course, Nate Mercado, 549. There's Danny Marston at 543. Talk about Mastari all the time, 538. You got Curtis Ostrom, 536. Jackson Perry, I believe he's new to the list, 532. And here's another new name, JD's kid, John Ryan Doss, 532. And then one of your guys, Cha-Cha Golden, checking in at 531.
A.K.A. Cheesy. Congratulations, making the top 10.
So that's an interesting when we start seeing guys that maybe a lot of people don't expect to see on the list. And again, I think that's one of the great things about this summer series is a lot of players that maybe you didn't hear about or know about are out there, and you start realizing how many good players there are in 16-inch softball.
Yeah, this is proof. And also on the side note, we want to thank you for doing all those games at Forest Park this past weekend. You did a tremendous job, you and Mr. Bliss. That was very nice. Oh, also Will did a game or two.
Will
I'm sorry.
Russ.
Will, I didn't want to leave you out. I apologize. But you three guys were three-headed.
I know George is here. He appreciates it. Will, I don't know, me and Bliss are maybe creating a monster because he really was getting into it. He was pretty good. I had to scold him a few times. He was stealing my lingo.
Well,
but I told him, get your own material. But
well,
no, he did a
if
great
memory
job.
serves me correct, you stole the lingo from me originally. But go ahead, please. Continue.
Okay. Well, I'll let you. I'll give you a pass on that. So now we're going to go to the hits leader.
Okay.
And here's Danny Marston with 57. You got Brian, and if you recall, he was the hit leader with 50 at one point. Danny, for him, didn't have quite the tournament he's been having, but he holds on to the hit lead at 57. Then you got Brian Korenkowski, again, good average, 49 hits, doing a great job. Kevin Duff, also Circus, 49 hits. You got your guy Cha-Cha at 43, and Greg Fleming at 42. And I got to tell you, Greg's name's going to pop up a few more times.
Well, it should. Greg has made the great leap from coming from, I think, BTA and Pharaohs, and now he's getting to be in that upper echelon of outfielders.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, his average will come, but his production has been off the charts. And, you know, like I said, we're going to see Greg in a few more of these leaderboards. So we'll slide over now to the doubles.
Uh-oh.
Your guy Dispenza, the double machine, still on top.
He is truly a double machine.
Yeah, so he's got 49. We got Matt Menizzi checking in with 12.
Wow.
Mahoney with 12.
That's a big gap.
Duff with 12. And then we've got Joe Piscitelli creeping up with 10.
Another one of my guys.
Yeah, so again, these are some of the best offensive players in softball. I'm a big believer that a great offensive player, at least a third of his hits, should be extra base hits. And when we see some of the other categories, you'll see that, you know, Spencer's on the double list, he's on the homer list, I believe he's on the triple list. So he might be well above a third of his hits being extra bases.
Right.
So
he gets to the category where these guys are entering the familiar ground of walk them.
yeah, I think these are some of the guys that you might want to pick your poison. Now, the problem is with a team like Circus or Flash or Signature, you know, then you see who's on deck, and you're like, I don't want to pitch to him either. I'm amazed some of these pitchers aren't curled up in the fetal position, sucking their thumb and asking for mommy, some of these lineups. So we'll move over to the aforesaid triples, and there's Spencer with 6 triples. Brian Toomey, new face, young kid from Iron, checking in with 4. Ryan Russ still at 4. He hasn't had a triple in a while. Mike Manzella at 4, and P.J. Raines checking in with 3.
That's a good list.
It is a good list.
All of them have some great speed. That's the one thing I can say about was consistent with the list. I see a lot of speed on the bases, to cut the bases right, and that's a really tough list.
It really is, and I think, again, the new face there, Brian Toomey, young kid. I believe he might still be playing some hardball. He was a catcher at, I want to say, Lewis, might still be in school. But he comes out with Iron. They stick him in right field a lot. And eventually, if baseball doesn't work out, he might turn out to be the guy on Iron that maybe nobody really thought of initially, who could end up being a building block and a mainstay over there.
Well, he's heading in the right direction, I can tell you that much. And I also want to wish a speedy recovery for the young man from Iron who got hurt. forgot his name. He slid into second base and I think messed his knee up.
I think you're talking about money line, and that was Drew Chavaria.
No, the money line. I'm so sorry because they were playing Iron that game. That's why I got the two mixed up.
And,
apologies.
And a little medical update. We heard Drew's going to need surgery on that ankle, so of course we wish him well. And,
speedy recovery.
And when he was playing for me, he was a receiver in college, and he actually broke his year and missed the whole year. So it's the second time he's had a broken ankle. The poor kid can't catch a break. So now we're going to go from triples to home runs.
Okay.
And your guy Greg Fleming's opened up a 2-homer lead. He's got 7. So pretty impressive.
Yes, it is.
Mastari with 5. Frank Simon, new name on the list, played for Inc. for a lot of years, nicknamed the Bambino. He shows up with 4. Chris Jordan with 4. And, of course, Jackson Perry with 4.
You just like saying the name. Congratulations, all. Congratulations, fellas.
I do like saying the name. He sounds like an action hero.
Yes, he is action
And
hero.
he's bigger than life. Jackson, one of my favorite dudes in the game.
So I can say he's all Geo. Not yet. I'm just trying to get something out of you. I'm trying to squeeze something out of him, people.
We'll see. We're going to now move into runs batted in. There's that guy Greg Fleming again. But I think what people need to take a look at, just to let you know how many runs Signature's been scoring, the top 4 guys on this list are all from Signature. So, you got Fleming with 34, Scarlata, 35 for Greg, 34 for Scarlata.
Right.
Chris Jordan, 31, Mahoney with 30. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's some hitting there.
Oh, yeah, it is. And bringing up the list at a very, very respectable 29, Timmy Korenkowski. So, Signature, they have just been pounding the ball the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so. Didn't quite have enough this weekend to get to the championship game. I believe the 45s knocked them out. And
yeah, you're right, they did.
Yeah, but they had a very good tournament. They did score a lot of runs and a very, very potent offense, to say the least.
Yeah, I think that as the tournament went on, they had a heavy, high-scoring game. They got kind of gassed sort of when they came up against the 45s. And so he looked tired, looked a little winded, but they all in all finished in third in one of the biggest tournaments in all of softball, nothing to be ashamed about.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, the thing that I've kind of found through the years is these bigger teams that have a heavy, heavy history of winning these types of events, whether it's Flash, Signature / Windy City, the 45s, Tito Miller, whatever their name was on a given year. The thing about those teams, me and you, when I had Mudville, you had Salute, we'd be tickled pink. We'd be like, hey, man, we had a great weekend.
Yeah.
These teams look at it like it was a bad weekend because they didn't win the event.
Wow.
And, it's that kind of a mentality that, pushes these teams to go out there and try to do it every single weekend, whether they're beat up, they're tired, they're hurt. Nothing less than winning is acceptable to a lot of these teams. And, some of the teams can balance that, with the more personal friendship type deal. Some of them are geared more toward it's all business. We're here to win. Both ways work if you get guys to buy in. And so I'm sure, if you went to Sal and them, they'd be like, it was okay.
Yeah. Knowing him, he would be like, say, whatever, Jerry Bear, it's okay, yeah, whatever. But I want to give Sal his flowers. Over the years, he's coached a plethora of different players and different teams, and every time, but the one consistent I notice about Signature and Windy City, they play hard. And they play Sal's way, and they play the right way. And they fell a little short this weekend, but like I said, you give me third place, I'm happy. And
so going to take a quick break before we head out the door and show the Sweet Buzz and Gold Rush Gaming again. And again, we'll ask you all out there to Please support the people that support 16-inch softball in the SSA, and take a look at our banners and make a mental note and give them some business. So we'll come back on the way out here. Little housekeeping. Veterans Park District is running their annual softball tournament. It's actually started right outside the door here with games in the AB division today. It's 8 o'clock. Don't know if we'll stream a game tonight or not. We'll see how that goes, but we'll be out here tomorrow, the 14-inch co-ed mushball. Saturday is all men's, the AB and the major. We'll be playing all day, and we'll be out here all weekend covering that. Sunday will be a busy day. Of course, the Michael Ciriali tournament is going on up in Hamlin. I'll be up there, and I'll also be back down here to show the co-ed mushball championship, so we got a little running around. For your A teams, I saw a list, and it may be filling up a little faster than it usually does. If you want to play in the SSA Class A Glove National Championship, you must click on the flyer. You must call Anthony Tyler to reserve a spot. We should have hotel information for that tournament up. The hotel is creating a web link for us right now, and that should go up sometime this weekend. So you guys will have that information. We should have the major hotel information out hopefully in the next couple of days for you major teams planning on going to Joliet. But you should also be reaching out to Anthony Tyler right now as well to let him know you're interested. We will be back, of course, next week. We'll talk a little bit about this tournament, how many teams we have for the A Glove, and that should be crazy fun as well. So if you're looking to get into those tournaments, we also put up a flyer today, or yesterday. We also put up a flyer for the co-ed mushball today. Yesterday we put up a flyer. Any women's teams that want to play in Joliet on Sunday, double elimination tournament, 16-inch softball, reach out and we'll try to get you on that list as well. So Jerry's never ends with the SSA. We always got something going on, and I think that the softball in the tournaments has been fantastic, and I think Carroll Stream and Joliet are going to be nutty.
Just fantastic.
And the question is, will Washington Park
Do what?
win their third straight major in Joliet?
That's not the question. The answer should be, how much are they going to win by?
Okay. Jerry Brown just malouked the entire park.
No, I didn't, guys. No, I didn't, guys. I got faith in you.
No, well, hey, you know what? BTA, High Y, and even, some teams like the Pharaohs.
Don't count those Pharaohs
out. That's what I
out.
mean. They put the gloves on. It's a whole different ballgame.
I got my gold on. Don't count those Pharaohs out.
Wow.
Subliminal message.
So, that's going to be fun. I think the Class A glove is going to be exceptional. New turf in Carroll Stream.
Oh, wow.
Me and George Bliss are working on a few surprises, so we may have new camera angles for Carroll Stream. So we're working on a lot of stuff. So on behalf of the SSA, the Chicago Summer Series, Sweet Buzz, Gold Rush Gaming, this is Gio and Jerry Brown signing off. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And be safe out there. And as George Bliss would say,
play softball. It's the greatest game in America.
The great George Bliss.
the great George Bliss. We'll see you, folks.